Hello, Angela Anaconda fans. As you know, I'm AmazzonKane. This is Ed Chee. He was a prop designer on the show, and he's agreed to answer a few questions. So before we get started, would you like to tell us what a prop designer does?
Oh, hey, thanks for having me, Alex. Prop designer. So I was part of the art team on Angela, and so what we had was a 3-person art team per episode. Mm-hmm. And so one person was designing the characters for that episode, one person was designing the backgrounds, and then I got to do the props, which were like anything that the character has to hold or interact with, things like that, and vehicles as well. So, yeah. Oh, cool. I was just rewatching some of the season 3 stuff.
Okay.
In anticipation of seeing you here today for this interview, and I saw some of the props that I did, and I saw the cars that I did. I was like, oh yeah, right. It wasn't just props; it was like vehicles as well. So, yeah.
Ah, that's cool. So you were on season 3 of the show.
Yeah, I only came on for season 3. I think it was only ran 3 seasons, and so they needed to finish up, and so they had an extra 3rd art team for at Core Digital Productions.
That's cool. So, if you don't mind me asking, how did you get attached to this show?
All right, so I guess we have to bring it back to it's back in Toronto in the late 90s, and I was working in animation. I just had started working in animation at that time. So I was previously, before Angela Anaconda, I was on Anne of Green Gables animated series. And so I was a prop designer for that. But that was a traditional animated series, so hand-drawn animation. I was going to Korea to get animated. But the design and storyboards were done in Toronto at Sullivan Entertainment, the rights holders for Anne of Green Gables. So I was doing props for Anne of Green Gables for the year, for the contract. When my contract was running out, I had a bunch of friends in the industry who were working, and I knew they were working at Core Digital Pictures, which was the company made Angela, and they did visual effects back in the day. So, and then I wanted to work, I knew I wanted to get back into Photoshop skills, because Photoshop was just kind of starting at that time for designing and things like that. Everything previously for animation also, as you know, was also just hand-drawn, hand-painted. So digital production was becoming the norm, and I wanted to be part of that. So when the opportunity came up that my contract was finishing at Anne of Green Gables, my friends at Core contacted me and said, hey, we're looking for designers to help out. So I took the jump and went to Core at that time.
That's cool.
Yeah.
When the show was finished, would you and the art team watch episodes afterwards, or were you too busy?
I think that was the thing. We didn't have screenings per se. In my job now that I do, we do have screenings. We would try to get group screenings, but at that time, no, I don't recall us sitting together in a room and watching the episodes. I think what it was we were just busy making the shows. We get our fun pack for the episode, and then you design it, and then you're moving on to your next show, and then the actual show wouldn't be animated for another maybe a month or so, or 2 weeks, or how long the animation schedule was. So, and then we'd go to post audio and all that. So I never, it was down the line, never saw it. Yeah.
Wow. So. And speaking of the team and what you'd get for your part of the show, how often were you interacting with the co-creators Joanna Ferone and Sue Rose?
Personally, I didn't interact with them at all. But I think via our art directors, our notes came through from them.
Okay.
So I don't think I met Sue Rose once. I think I told you that she came to the studio,
and that is one of the questions I'm gonna have.
Yeah, so I met her once or twice when she came to the studio. Yeah. So other than that, I think so they would give the notes. I think Sue gave the notes, the art notes.
Yeah, because Sue is more the artist, Joanna was more on the writing side.
Cool. Yeah. And so but I never saw them directly. Those it would filter down from my art director saying, let's change this or whatever. Yeah. But it's pretty easy, really simple, really nice show. Yeah, as I've told you.
That makes me so happy to hear. And so since we talked about Sue Rose visiting you, and one of the first things you said to me was that she left a voice message for you in her Angela voice. Yeah. Do you remember what it said?
Yeah. So when I knew she was coming, I just filming outside.
Yes.
I wanted to get an answering machine message from her, and I thought it'd be great if she could record something for me. And so I brought in my machine the day that she was coming, and I think I asked her to say, Hey, this is Angela, and no, whatever. Let me try that again. Like maybe it was like, hey, you've reached Ed, or maybe this is Angela Anaconda. You've reached Ed. He's not home right now, but maybe you could leave him the message. Leave a message and give him the props, because he's the one that gives me the props. And that was it. See what I see, or something like that. I don't know.
See you when you see me.
So yeah, whatever. Her famous line. But I promise, if I go back to Toronto and I know that message is buried in my parents' basement somewhere, in an answering machine somewhere, if I can like dig through, find it, if the tape is still working, I'll totally pass it on to you.
And I'll pass it on to you guys.
So
And
yeah.
what kind of props were you usually designing?
Right. So props. What is it? It's things that people can hold. Angela in her world was like. One of the things was like my most favorite one was a Death Star that I had to do.
It's from the episode Space Camp, for those of you watching.
So that was like part of the fantasy. So when Nanette had her head as the shape of as a Death Star, so that was a great one to do. But other than that, a lot of it was like a tray, tray of jiggly fruit at that time. Jiggly fruit was also obviously was a reuse prop that they had already designed since season 1 and 2, but
right.
Different trays at a certain episode that if they didn't have, I had to design.
Did you design an Evil Ducksworthy?
No. Which season was that? I don't remember.
Was, I believe, a later one, season 3.
Oh, okay. It might have been a character. Was it if he?
Okay, yeah, that was a character.
Yeah. So if it interacted with and started had
he
like
was a sock
walkie-talkie.
puppet.
Yeah. So if it started as a sock puppet, that would technically be a prop. But then maybe if it went into fantasy, then as a character, so it would have been built on the character end.
Okay.
And then just scaled down to be a prop later.
Interesting.
So yeah.
Because that's a character that in that episode, Dr. Ducksworthy, that can go both ways and really has.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I did design. There's a giant hockey puck. And I just watched it.
The puck stops here.
Puck stops here. And so yeah, and I just saw it the other day, and so
That's a good one.
So it is a kind of a character, but I did design it as a prop. I got that. Maybe it was a character, and I got to do it. Can't remember,
Cool.
But yeah, I gave him a black eye and like big gnarly teeth, and yeah, that was fun to do.
Awesome. And don't know if I asked this yet.
Yep.
Are there any lost episodes or episodes that didn't make it to air that you know of?
Oh man, you should see the blooper reel that we made.
What?
No, I'm kidding. I don't know. I'm just lying. I'm making that up. I don't think so. I'm not sure. I'm absolutely not sure about that. I don't think so. I think everything that came out of there was pretty tight, and that went to air. That we got scripted and sent to us for production. Got made and animated. Yeah, pretty interesting though. It'd be fun to see if there's something that pushed the limits maybe too far or something.
Right, because the show did get away with a lot.
Yeah.
Right.
It was fun.
And you said that the show had a really smooth production.
Yeah.
So this is a general work environment question. Aside from fair pay, what can a showrunner do to make the artists happy to work for them?
One of the things that I learned, the biggest thing that I learned from that production was from our production manager, Lisa Bayshard. She just had a way about her that looked after the crew. It's just a matter about being present and knowing if somebody's going to work late, like you're going to supply lunch or dinner to them often. So just things like that, just being around, being present. I've been in companies where it's been the opposite, where you don't see the owners, or you don't see the showrunners, you don't see them around at all. And so information gets filtered through a lot, whereas at Core Digital, the owners were actually working on the floor with us. So they were animators, a couple of them were animators, so they were working on things, different projects as well. So yeah, they were just around, they're very approachable. So being in, if somebody wants to be in that kind of position, yeah, I think that's a great way to go. Yeah, just be there, be present for people.
Honestly, that makes me really happy to hear that Angela had such a smooth production. And it wasn't just you saying that, a bunch of people from the art department, writers.
Yeah, I think it was just and in my career I've been on different productions, and which have been hard, like, but everything eventually gets made in animation and production. Nothing's ever easy, as I've learned, but it was easy on Angela. It was smooth, it was fun, it was a fun show, the fun people, and I don't know what it was. It's hard to explain. It's the only production in my career that I've been on that's been like super smooth, easy, fun.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Other productions like the one I'm currently on now has been super fun, but there's a lot of pain. There's a lot of like extra hours. I mean, not like horrible pain, but you get through it and things like that. But yeah, I don't know. It was great. It was a great time.
Awesome.
Great little bubble.
Oh, which makes me a little sad to transition into this part of this question. So the show had a short that was a tie-in with the Digimon movie.
Right.
Did you work on it?
I did. I think I did. So here's the thing about that. It was like a big thing to turn. It was going to theaters, and everything had to be upscaled to 2K.
Oh, 2K.
2,000 pixels, so it could be legible clearly on the screen. I guess back in the day it was like 480 or 720 might have been the top resolution.
Something like that.
Yeah.
4:3 ratio, I think it was.
Yeah, so it would have been like 480p, which is 480 pixels. So going to theater, we had to go to 2K resolution. So I did have to. I know I worked on it. I think I turned a Digimon image art, supplied art, their official art, into a cardboard cutout that had to be like rotated with an edge.
I think I know which one you're talking about.
Might have been it, but yeah, I did work on that. Yeah.
Oh, that is interesting.
And it had to be up to 2K, which took a lot of computing resources back in 1999, 2000. Didn't take that much. I'm just kidding, but
still though,
that's a big thing.
99, and technology's really come a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you, out of curiosity, what were you told about the short going into it? Was that a studio decision, or was that from somewhere up top in the show's production?
No, it was just from the production that we had, that we got an opportunity to do this, that the trailer or teaser was going to be ahead of Digimon movie. We thought it was great, like, cool. That's more exposure for the little show we're working on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I've watched the short.
Yeah?
It's not bad. It's not bad at all.
Okay,
It's I don't know if you remember the episode Good Seats. It's essentially that, but with Digimon references.
Cool. So they got the hair. Wait, they had the spiky hair. I think our character
Yeah, because she turns into one of the characters in the Revenge Fantasy. I actually don't know Digimon. I did grow up with it, but I wasn't involved with the fandom, so I don't know how accurate it is to Digimon. The fans have told me it's not.
It's not. Well, it's fine. It's Angela Anaconda as Digimon.
As Digimon, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And what projects are you doing now?
What am I working on now?
Yes.
I can't talk about it because it has been announced. I'm currently at a studio called Atomic Cartoons in Vancouver, BC, Canada, and we are making Last Kids on Earth. It's for Netflix, so animated series based on the books by Max Brailer out of New York City. So yeah, it's Kid Zombies coming in September 2019. So yeah, and I'm a storyboard supervisor on that show.
Cool.
Yeah.
And one last question for my questions, fan questions. That'll be a separate video. You know I want to reboot the show.
Yeah.
Would you want to come back?
Yeah, I would.
Yes. What would your dream role be?
Oh gosh.
On any animated series, reboot included.
So now, back then I was a designer, right? So I mean, I could do anything for the show. I would do anything. I could do designs. Put me back at prop designs. That's fine. Put me as art director. That's great too. I could do storyboards for the show, or I could be a storyboard supervisor. Doing storyboards would be fun, actually, to do something on Angela, to get a piece in the narrative of it. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Well, thank you very much.
Hey, no problem.
So, fan questions will be coming up. Hold on.